I mean, isn't this a board file too? Doesn't this look like a board? It sure does. But a board file is actually a file that has an actual like plastic board in there that makes this file sturdy. And you've been paying attention in this video already. You saw how this bends, and then we can leave this bend in our shaping, and it does not give us nice uniform shaping across all of our fingernails. Hey there and welcome back, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Paola of paolaponcenails.com, your source for all things premium soft gels and entrepreneurship in the nail industry. If this sounds like a niche you'd like to continue growing in, then at the end of this video, do consider subscribing to this channel and our weekly newsletter. Let's begin. All right, so let's talk about nail shaping. So one of the common mistakes that I see a lot of students doing is using the wrong file to shape the natural nails. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to introduce you to the two files that you will be using to shape the nails. You have an emery board and a board file. Either one of these can be a 180 grit. Sometimes you will have your emery board be a 240 around there grit. So remember, the higher the number, the softer it is. The lower the number, the coarser it is. So we want to be shaping nails with a higher grit, which means more of a soft, gentle grit. There's a lot of things you can do with your 180 grit board file, like shaping the nails, sure, but also shaping the body of those enhancements. So that's what I want to get into today. Shaping and what uses does your board file and your emery board have. So let's start with an emery board. An emery board is a board specifically to be used with the natural nails. And when I mean natural nails, I mean no product on the nails, because the hardness of the nail is going to be sufficient. It's not going to be too hard for you to file a nice natural shape on there. But what happens is that when you put enhancements on the natural nail now becomes more hard, right? And so what ends up happening is that you need to apply more pressure in order to get the shape that you desire. So at that point, when you start applying that pressure, you're bending the file. You see how much more flexible the emery board is, and you're indenting or putting this bend onto your shaping, and you're not getting a crisp shape. So for that reason, you would not use an emery board for natural or enhancement shaping, okay? And I mean like the free edge. Also, your emery board is not strong enough for you to bevel or soften up anything on the natural nail. I mean, sure, if there's like a little wrinkle in your gel there, you can take your emery board and that would take care of that. But the more efficient tool for that, shaping the body in the rare occasions that you're going to do that, because you actually want to get your shaping, your body shaping from the product that you are using. In our case, we use Structure Soft Gel. So we're going to get our body shaping with structuring our gel. So that's the emery board. Used for natural nails without product, because the natural nails won't be hard enough or resisting you shaping them. The other thing we use an emery board is for occasions when we have the natural nails with product on already, but we probably have a little bit of an attachment to the sidewalls, or we're trying to break the sidewalls through. Sometimes our product touches there at the connection point, the skin point. Sometimes we leave a corner, maybe like so. And so we want to soften that up. And it's kind of hard to get this big, thick piece in between the natural nail and the skin, right? It just doesn't fit. I mean, it's just not possible. You see how thick this is? So it's not for that. But on the other hand, if you take your emery board, you can easily squeeze that in there to soften corners or detach any product from off the skin. So if your gel product just has cured a little bit, sometimes it'll happen here where we have these little calluses, then that's when you would use your emery board, okay? So let's review their use. Again, emery board is going to be for natural nails and detaching or finishing off an enhancement on the sidewalls. So then what is your board file? So a board file is just what it sounds. I promise you, in the nail industry, there really isn't mystery words. Like, if you hear a hype word, just take a moment, pause, breathe, and say to yourself, okay, new hype word, what is this about? So it's usually gonna be, or the definition of that hype word, it's gonna be in the word. So for example, if you think of like structure gel, what's structure gel? Well, it is gel that you can structure. Now, it is more commonly referred to like the soft gel branch of gels versus hard gel, but a structure gel is a structure gel. Like rubber base, what is rubber base? What's a gel that feels like rubber? Most, or I shouldn't say most, but some bottled builders feel like rubber, but that doesn't mean that they're all rubber base. So don't just go calling something rubber base if it really has no rubber component to it, right? The same thing here. We have a board file. What's a board file? Is that just a file, you know, with, I mean, isn't this a board file too? Doesn't this look like a board? It sure does. But a board file is actually a file that has an actual like plastic board in there that makes this file sturdy. And you've been paying attention in this video already. You saw how this bends, and then we can leave this bend in our shaping, and it does not give us nice uniform shaping across all of our fingernails. Well, this, sure, it flexes a little bit, but notice how the center is just pretty solid, right? So this board, and again, they can both be 180 grit, but this one here is going to allow you to shape enhancements. That includes the free edge of the nails, okay? So let's just say I'm gonna go for a round. I'm gonna reduce this nail. And I know in school you're taught not to go back and forth with the nails because you can cause them to split. Now here's the thing. If you're using a high quality board file or emery board, the grit is going to be really soft and it's going to be small. The grain of the boards, either one, the emery board or the board file, is going to be very gentle. It's not going to be super big and rocky. So don't worry about that. Now, if you increase the grit, so if you start going to a 150, 100, and 80, and you do that, then sure, you're going to leave the edge jagged. So when you go back and forth with a smooth grit like this, one that's not super rocky and it's a high quality file, then do not worry about that. I promise you, I have not had all of these natural nail splitting or anything, okay? So as I'm going back and forth, I'm reducing the nail with my 180 and my board file is staying nice and straight. Whereas if I did this, if I start putting pressure here, I don't know if you can see, but I start bending right there, okay? So it starts literally pointing downward as I'm putting my edge there. I mean, I just feel it right here. It just starts bending downward. Again, solid board file right here. I don't feel that, okay? Stay straight. The other thing I can do is bevel the body. So kind of go over it, right? And it's gonna get me there quicker than this. It's also, as we've already discussed, not going to leave an imprint. So I'm not going to be like shaping and this leaving a curve in there or anything. So again, just very easy, sturdy, straight. Allows me to cover a lot of surface area if I need to. Again, we want to get our shaping, the body shaping from our structure gel, not us filing this. Like, long gone are the days to use like these abrasives to try to get or whip things into shape. Like, we're not doing that. We're letting our technique do that for us. Okay, so if you're like been paying attention also, which I know you have, you're probably going to be like, well, you just said, Paola, that you cannot fit this in that groove. So then is this truly for all free edges? So remember, free edges with product, yes. But of course, we're not gonna be able to get in there nice and tight. So it's good to have both so that then you can use your emery board to get in there and detach the nail or tighten up that edge, soften up that corner, whatever you're going to do. Lastly, you can use either or to prep the nail. When you are prepping the nail, you are not trying to remove layers. And removing layers happens when you overpass the nail, whether it be with a hand file back and forth If you did this 2 times, 3 times, you have already reduced the nail somewhat or removed some keratin. Likewise with your e-file, make sure that you're doing single passes so that if you're going over it, you better believe you are removing keratin off of the nail. So you want to go 1 pass as much as possible, both with this tool or your sanding band when you're prepping the nails. But yes, this for me allows me to have a little bit more control. Now my cuticle work personally is going to be taken care of by another tool, either like a stone pusher or my e-file bits. So I don't have to worry about jamming this into the cuticle area. I could also use it as a cuticle pusher. You'll find that a high quality board file has different like sides and edges to it. And one of the things it has here is like a nice corner, right? It allows you to kind of create a little texture, just gentle. We're letting the grit of the file do the work, not the pressure, okay? You don't wanna use the pressure, use the grit of the file. And then it also has this like moon shape, or some of them do, and that's so it allows you to get in there and curve in and do what you have to do around the cuticle time, the very few times that you should be touching the cuticle area. So there you have it, emery board versus board file. They both shape free edges. This one shapes natural free edges and also detaches product. And this one shapes enhancement free edges to keep a nice crisp shape, especially when you're doing like those coffin. Definitely a board file. Hope that helped. Thank you for watching. If you loved today's video, can you do me a favor and give it a thumbs up to boost it up in the algorithm so that I may help more people? And if you need a little more direction in your nail career, I want to encourage you to join my free masterclass using the link in the description box below. It is available for you to watch immediately for free right now after signing up.